Hello guys, thanks for tuning in. It's Crypto Mainly Lee here. First video of 2026, so nice, very excited to do that for you. I'm just showing you the website on the screen, guys. So I've spent some time just developing that last year, so that everything is all in one place. If you would be kind enough to update the field here with your email address and your Telegram username, if you want to be on the email list, that would be great. Obviously, lots of links here to everything that I do, basically. So I just wanted everything in one place, and it feels a little bit on Telegram, a little bit disjointed. We can do pinned messages in Telegram, but it still feels a little bit disjointed. So everything that I do basically is all here now for you to take a look at. So all the links and things in one place. But let's have a look at the charts and see what's going on. I have made a few notes, guys, which I'll refer to if you don't mind. But hopefully you've all got copies of this chart now. So little feature which we introduced last year, which is where you can actually copy this chart for yourself. So you basically copy the link and it opens up and you can just copy the chart and have it on your own trading view, so that you haven't got to keep waiting for me to update you. So hopefully that's a nice new feature which was introduced last year. We'll be doing it on other charts as and when, but I thought that this one is really the main one that we need to be watching. And there are a number of reasons for that. You can see I've marked the 2024 yearly candle body high. The CB stands for candle body. 2024 candle body high. We can see that we're actually, we are below that. We've tested it a couple of times and we are staying below. But the support line here is acting as a nice support. So any time you see like a high to low support line, guys, it's a very powerful support. And obviously you can see, how it fits with the rest of the price action. Just one thing I do want to point out to you, in addition to what you can see here, though, guys, if you draw this from the actual candle body lows here, if I just change that to 4 and just highlight that for you in a different color, you can see that in actual fact the price action has it's dropped down and it is below that the blue support line there. So I have drawn the high to low support, and I think that that's obviously very significant. But you could also see that in real terms we've actually dropped not only below the yearly candle body high for 2024, but we are actually, we have broken down of this rising channel here. So, we do need to be careful, guys. It still looks like the end of the cycle, to be quite honest. Until we get, anything that, when we start to get back above these levels, which I'll come to in a second. But I'll just show you a couple of things on here, guys. If I zoom in a moment, you can see. So, for example, I'm going to zoom into the triangle. So just to show you again, so you've got a triangular shape form here, which is actually a bullish formation. So I'll just show you there for those of you that can't see it. So you've got this sort of shape here, which obviously that is a bullish formation. So if we zoom in, you can see another great sign for yesterday was, you can see that actually this, if ever you see a candle like this where you've got the open and close very very close together, that's a good sign that will act as a very strong point of interest in the future. So breaks above that would be very, it would take a lot to break above that and a lot to break below it. So support and resistance to do an SR flip on that particular candle there, is a very powerful sign. I'm just going to move that out of the way for a moment. But yeah, so you get that type of thing. Obviously this is a doji candle, which would suggest you've got downside, which we did have. But then obviously since then we've continued to the upside. We've broken above that, and last week, as I can see, if I just mark this off there on the chart, you can see that that's in orange there, 90,428, and you can see clearly we broke above that. And we've stayed above that. So yesterday's close, we closed well above this key support area here. So again, we're sort of testing it again now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we come back down here just in the early part of this week. The CME gap is down at about 88,000. Okay, which on the chart here is somewhere here. So basically range body lows here. So it wouldn't be surprising if we came down and tested that 88,000, refilled the gap, and then continued onwards. Clearly, we'd be looking for a close back above, this 90,428 by the end of this week now, for that to come into fruition. So, that's a key level, guys. Mark that on your charts. 40,000. Sorry, 90,428. Okay, just want to show you the wishful, what I'm calling the wishful thinking range, which is, there's some talk. Obviously, I shared the video from Raoul Paul where he mentions that perhaps we're in a business, we're actually in a business cycle, and the cycles will actually extend out to 5 years, which I think could be, you know, the video is the most compelling thing that I've seen to suggest that the cycle will carry on. I mean, if at the moment, as things stand, if we do break above and we start to get back above that 106, 107 mark, then there's nothing to say that we don't stay within this big range here. I mean, I've called it the wishful thinking range because clearly we're at the end of the cycle. We've lost support. We've come back down and we're consolidating below. We haven't broken down yet, and I do feel that we're going to get a push up into these key areas here, somewhere above the 50 EMA, which is in the red dotted line there, which is at 97, say 97,400 at the moment. I do think we'll go above there, and we'll end up somewhere between 97 and that 106, somewhere in that sort of range there, which is why I've shared those exit points with you, which I'll pop in the group again today just to remind you. But I think if we get anywhere above that 97,400, the 50 EMA, if we're anywhere above there, then we need to be really careful. We need to be watching for a breakdown from there. And the reason I say that is clearly I think that on the chart here, I think we're somewhere here, which again, you got one high, two highs. If you look at the structure, it's very similar. Okay, so you got one, you got your highs and you got slightly higher, and then you've got the highs here, and then you've got slightly higher, and then obviously we've broken down, which is very similar to here. You can see, we've broken through the 50 EMA, and we're somewhere in this region here, and I think we're somewhere here. So you get, a nice spike. Could take a couple of weeks to get that spike, and then obviously once you're above the 50 EMA, when it comes back down to retest, if you lose the 50 EMA at that point, obviously you come down here, and actually this here, guys, is actually this fractal, just in case you're wondering. So I think that we're somewhere here, and that's why I've popped that in there, and I've put this fractal in there. It makes sense. You can see at the bottom, at the on the chart there, I've marked the 19th of October would be the potential bottom in terms of the 4-year cycle. That's where we'd be aiming for a bottom. Okay, so whilst we're talking about bottoms, in this area here, just wanted to show you something, guys. If we looked at the last cycle, if you remember going into the last cycle, it was a classic where Bitcoin never actually breached the all-time high, prior to that. So sorry, just to make that clearer. So when we reached an all-time high, previously we never broke back down, but below that high, in history. Clearly this time that we did. So if we and I just want to show you something on the chart so that we get an idea of possibly what could happen on this cycle. So if we go from the high here, okay, so the high of that cycle there, and we go to the low of this cycle, which is that one there. Okay, you can see that that's actually about a 22% drop. Okay, so what I'm measuring here is the cycle high here. How much did we drop below that cycle high before we took off again? And you can see it's about 22%. So I'm not saying it's going to be exacting, but if we apply the same logic to where we are now, and if we dropped 22% below this high, okay, what would that mean? So if we drop 22%, where would that be in price action now? So we'll go to 22% there. Okay, so you're looking at around about the sort of 50,000 mark, 50 to 55,000. Okay, so let me just mark that again with this one, so that it's actually it stays on the chart there. Okay. Okay, so if we're looking at a breakdown from here, that it's interesting to see that 22% from the previous high actually lines up very nicely with this big band of what would be support at this point. Okay, and also if we just do if this is obviously a corrective phase that we're in now, and if we did an AB equals CD from where we are, again it takes us into this mid-range here. So the next point, below this support here would obviously be all the way down to 44,000. Not sure that we would get that far down, to be honest. I mean, it's possible. Nothing's impossible in crypto, as you'll all know. But if I just put a fib on here from the low to the high, okay, you can see that the 382 is around about 56,000. That makes sense to me. It's the lows of the range. it's the AB equals CD correction. It's 22% lower than the previous high. It all stacks up to be something close to what I would consider to be to be reasonable. The only sort of caveat to that is obviously the lows. The fractal suggests that we could get some something lower. As you all know, WD GAN, the 0.5 retracement is also very popular, and that's down at 44,000. So if we lose the sort of 50,000, 55,000 price range and the lows of this range here when we're at this point, the next point of interest is down at 44,000 there. Okay, guys, so lots of information, lots of things to think about, but where are we at in the cycle? I think we're here, and I think we're going to come up, and we're going to create. Maybe it might be a huge bull trap. We may even get back into the territory. The biggest bull traps that I've seen in crypto, everybody is fooled by them. Okay, so we'll get to a point possibly where everything looks like we're full on bull mode again, and then when that happens, that will be likely when we get the big a horrendous correction like we saw back in October, where things just come crashing down and take everybody by surprise. And if that happens, then we'll get continuation, further down. But I do think, the 2024 candle body high is showing as a really strong resistance, as you'd expect now at this point. But we are grinding up against it. We've got a bullish formation below that candle body high, which is bullish in itself, and we are trying to break up. Now, whether we get the strength to do that and then we pop up, and continue is a possibility, still a possibility even now. But if you looked at this structurally, we are still in a bullish phase. If we add the other, if we look at the sort of candle body lows here, and we add, this one on, you can see actually that in fact we're actually below. Okay, so we've already broken down and we're grinding up on the underside of a channel that we've broken down from. So that's bearish. There are conflicting bits of conflicting information here. The only thing that I will say is on the weekly, you've got stochastic, which the stochastic RSI is actually starting to try to turn up. And if that does tip up, we will get a large move to the upside. We're talking about, you're talking maybe even as much as 20% move to the upside. So if it does do that, that'll push us back up into the territory, back up to, possibly even above the November. You see there in November in green there, 109,620. We may even get back above there. That's probably where I'd say that the bull trap will happen if we do get back above that 109 and everyone's bullish again. If it's going to happen at all, once the liquidity is there below with everybody longing, then that's when the collapse will happen. So I don't know, guys. I think we need to be very careful. We need to be cautious, not to say, exit now and everything's doom and gloom. I think we've got a nice part of the cycle left yet to run. And then before we see, the final collapse, perhaps a little bit later in the year, maybe, end of Q1 possibly. So hopefully that helps you guys. Do ask some questions, put some comments in the comments below, and join our public group. We've got a Telegram group which is interesting. It's got lots of really good, intelligent people in there, and we have a lot. We do have a lot of fun. We have some good conversations and things. So do come and join the Telegram group, and I look forward to seeing you in there. Everybody that's in the Telegram group, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again soon. All the best. Take care.